what happened in the coaching sessions is that I unlearned decades of limiting beliefs about money, money being hard, money being intimidating. You really did change my life. Everything I wanted came true. Since our coaching sessions, I ended up going to Siargao twice, Bohol thrice, and Tokyo thrice. I've been to Bali thrice. So I lived there for 2 months last year in 2023. And I actually have plans to be living there again for 2 months this August to October 2024. I can't believe I'm at that point where I get to travel this frequently and that I know that it came from my own hard work, the way that I manage finances. For me, that was like the biggest dream come true, my ability to travel. The money systems really gave me a sense of safety and security that really allowed me to be more financially independent. Your future self will really thank you for investing in this program.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have a special episode today because this month I'm celebrating 3 years of my coaching business. And I was like, what better way to celebrate that than bringing in one of my first few clients ever from 2021 to share her most valuable lessons and breakthroughs that she got from our coaching together. Also, how it has helped her now for the past 3 years now that it's 2024, how it has helped her in building sustainable money habits, in letting her fund major life milestones for the past 3 years. Like, you're going to be so inspired because every time I see her post, if you're on TikTok, you see her there, see her on Instagram, and she's always such an inspiration to like my clients. So I had to bring her in. So welcome, Ella, to the channel again.
Yay! Thank you so much, Nick, and thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be back. And I can't wait to share everything I've learned from you in the past 2 years.
Yeah, okay, amazing. So we were literally just catching up before this interview and we were already getting emotional. Like,
You're
girl,
already
my gosh,
crying.
like,
Ready na yung tissue.
so, ano na to, in advance, just if you see us emotional because we're just like, we're just, even
Crying.
if we're through, yeah, we're just crying. But like, it just goes to show that a lot can happen through the screen. And it's always such a amazing feeling to know that the impact of the kind of connections that we have could really create such a ripple effect to the people around us. So now, so the first thing I really want to check in with you is to share to everyone, like, how was it handling your finances when you first came to me for coaching in 2021, which was 3 years ago, and what were the main challenges that you faced with managing your money?
So I would have to say that back in 2021, I was still in the early stages of my adulting journey. Back when I was first starting to earn my own money and learn how to be more financially independent after 3 years in the workforce. So I was really at the point where I didn't know how to do anything. My main challenge was that I didn't know how to manage my money at all, period. Like, it wasn't something that was ever taught to me growing up. If anything, the only thing my parents showed me was what not to do. Like, living paycheck to paycheck or borrowing money from other people, living outside of your means. So while I learned what not to do, I never really learned what to do. And while I did some research of my own, I found like a lot of the tips seemed really overwhelming or not as applicable to me and what I wanted and my goals or my lifestyle. So I think at that point, I was really at the point in my life where I needed support and guidance, someone to show me step by step what I needed to do or lay out a roadmap or a map that I could follow. So, yeah, when you reached out to me to be one of the first people for your beta testing of this coaching program, I was so excited because it was like exactly what I needed. So I absolutely jumped at the chance. And that decision changed my life. So, yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Like, it got me already emotional when before this call, like, I was like, it's an understatement to say like you changed my life. And sometimes I cannot fully like comprehend that, but then it just goes to show like how much money really affects our life. Like, how we manage money really bleeds into our day-to-day life, whether we like it or not. And I think when at that point in 2021, how I was drawn to you at that time was like you were just so eager to like, I know this is a problem, like this has to be fixed because I know it's gonna like affect everything in my life. And true enough, when you did fix it, it has changed everything else in your life for the better. So with that, like, fast forward to 2024 now, having gone through the past 3 years of applying everything that you learned from the coaching experience, what's the biggest change that you've seen in yourself and in managing your money since our coaching together?
Oh my gosh, this is already making me so emotional because I think I touched on it a bit previously, but yeah, growing up, money was really a cause of a lot of anxiety. For instance, because my parents were so financially irresponsible, they had to basically turn me and my siblings over to my grandparents who had to support us for everything, education, all of that stuff. So money for me was always like a cause of anxiety, always a cause of worry. And what happened in the coaching sessions is that I unlearned decades worth of limiting beliefs about money, money being hard, money being intimidating. The biggest change in managing my money is realizing that it's not as hard or as intimidating as I once thought. I feel like there's a tendency to overcomplicate things when it comes to money and finances, but if anything, it becomes really simple and easy because our coaching sessions really gave me the framework to identify what matters to me and how I can get myself there financially. So I find myself redoing the worksheets when I have major goals to achieve, even because I feel like doing the worksheets is not really a one and done, but it's something that evolves as I grow and as I change. And yeah, for me, the biggest change is not really the way I manage money, but the financial mindset talaga that I had, where I was more of like in a scarcity mindset, where money was something that was intimidating for me. So
Yeah, like I love that you mentioned how the worksheets we did in 2021 you still carry with you to this day. And that's why I always share like what we go through the program is like a lifetime thing. Like it's not just like, oh, I'm gonna do it for 2 months and then forget about it. Like it's something I even still do, like because it's what I teach, and I'm so happy that you get to still maximize that every time you set new goals for yourself, because that way you're able to really adjust what happens in your life to how you manage your finances. So it doesn't seem like two buckets that are completely like finances has to be intimidating. So this is what I want to do with my life. I think it's so powerful when you said that you were able to under like decades of limiting beliefs that you grew up with, because we don't realize how that really affects how we look at money, how we manage your money. And when you were able to really release that, break that down, you were able to now see like, okay, like money doesn't have to be intimidating. It can work for me, not against me. And that in itself has taken you so many places, you know? And
yeah,
so, speaking of which, another big reason why I brought Ella here is because we have the same birthday month.
yes,
And
cancers.
and I love that every time I greet her on her birthday, I always tell her like I'm always rooting for you, like I hope you're living your best life. And then she even said after that that, oh yeah, I'm living my best life thanks to you because of the coaching we went through. Eto na, maging emotional na ako. Oh my gosh.
Ay!
So like even seeing like even seeing that message, like it's so impactful, right? Because we don't even realize like one thing that we decide on can change everything, right? And so please share with us like what goals and dreams became reality for you because of our coaching together.
Oh, Nick, you're gonna make me cry. But I really do mean that, like, from the bottom of my heart. It's not something that I would just say to anyone, even, but
Yeah.
you really did change my life. And when I was looking back at my worksheets from 2021, I kid you not, everything and even more came true. Everything I wanted and an abundance I couldn't have dreamed of came true. So, just to recap for those viewers right now, when I was looking at my worksheets, my first goal, for instance, was to save enough money to live in Siargao, Bohol, or Tokyo for 1 month by the end of 2021. And since our coaching sessions, I ended up going to Siargao twice, Bohol thrice, and Tokyo thrice. And during my trips to Japan, I got to see like Taylor Swift live with Rocio, actually, another friend I referred to the program. And I also got to go to the Studio Ghibli Museum in Nagoya. So it's like all of my healing of my inner child. I got to do all of that through my travels. And the craziest thing, what I was just mentioning to Nick before we went live, is that in addition to all of that, I've been to Bali thrice. I really fell in love with Bali after my company trip there in 2022. So I lived there for 2 months last year in 2023. And I actually have plans to be living there again for 2 months this August to October 2024. And all of those travels are on top of visiting other islands in the Philippines that I've never been to, like El Nido and Siquijor, and even going on a girls' trip to Hong Kong with my friends last March. So, a bit of backstory here. Again, like growing up, one of my biggest dreams in life was always to travel, to see the world. And because, again, I had parents who were financially irresponsible, my family could never really afford to go on vacations. So for me, traveling is such a luxury and a privilege that I never take for granted. And I can't believe I'm at that point where I get to travel this frequently, and that I know that it came from my own hard work, the way that I manage finances, like the salary that I'm earning. So for me, that was like the biggest dream come true, my ability to travel. And on top of that, my second goal was to find more freelance clients for additional income streams. And while I didn't necessarily find the clients ended up finding me. So it was kind of in line as well with growing as a content creator. I was able to do projects with Gcash, Lux Slash, Five Beauty, Myra E, and so many of my other dream brands like MAC, Lancome. So working as a content creator and as someone who can do live streams has really brought in extra income streams over the years, doing something that I genuinely enjoy. So it's crazy how like those two dreams of like getting more income streams, somehow doing what I love, and growing as a content creator both kind of like combined to get to where I am right now. And lastly, I think one of my favorite stories that I always love telling people in our coaching sessions is one thing I will never forget. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry, girl. I'm gonna cry. But one thing I will never forget is when I had to identify my target monthly income based on all of my goals. And I distinctly remember like feeling like, whoa, that's such a big amount when we discussed it. Like, will it ever be possible for me to reach? And I distinctly remember a day after the session, I got a text from Union Bank that the payroll had been credited to my account. And I kid you not that the amount that I wanted and even slightly higher was what was credited to my account, and like the target income basically that I had. And now it's crazy because 3 years later, I'm also earning well above that considering my job and my content creation gigs. So I don't know, for me, it was kind of just like, what are the odds that that immediately happens after? And I felt like it was really just a sign from the universe that I was on the right track, that from years of thinking that I wasn't worthy of good things, I'd never be able to afford this, I would like attract those opportunities and growth there. So that's like a crazy story that I love telling all of my friends because, what are the odds? It's really like a sign from the universe.
Yeah. I always remember that also when you messaged me that like I cannot believe like this was such like saktong timing that when I decided that
Mm.
I'm worthy of that kind of income, that I'm worthy for those kinds of goals, when I'm worthy of those kinds of experiences, I attract them. And I think that's why what you said, that the mindset was the biggest change. Like the mindset had to change in order for you to be ready for these kinds of opportunities in your life, or else you would have been like, ah, no, like not for me, like I'm not worthy of that, I don't deserve that. And I think that's why you were able to do all of these amazing things. Like if you guys haven't followed Ella yet on TikTok, like follow her for all of these travels that she's been through. And it just goes to show that how the right mindset can take you so far, and how this really breaks the chain of what you grew up with. And I think that is the biggest win, if anything, that you're able to be like, I don't have to carry on the same habit, the same mindset that my parents had. I get to break that now, and I get to show others that even if you came from that place, you can rise above it and inspire others to do it even better, And it's just so inspiring. And it just also shows that when you're able to build that solid financial foundation for yourself, you're gonna be ready to take on these income streams, these opportunities. And that's something that I've been harping on for the past few years, of like, if we don't have the right financial foundation, right? Like everything else we put on top will just crumble. Like even if we add more income streams, but if our mindset is not there, if we don't manage our money properly, like sayang lang lahat ng income na yon.
I feel like very similar to what you mentioned. It doesn't matter whether, let's say, you're earning 25,000 pesos or 50,000 pesos. If you still don't know how to manage it, then you really will not grow at all from there. So you could be living comfortably with a smaller salary, or you could still feel like you're lacking, even though you're earning so much bigger. I felt like it definitely made me feel like I could aim for higher. And because I feel like when we had the coaching, it got me clear on what I really wanted so that it was easier to say no to the things that didn't matter as much to
Mm.
me. So for instance, I could say no to shopping and like impulse buying, like going to concerts or whatever, because I know what really is my priority is travel and experiences. Similarly, I think another big shift in me was being able to say yes to opportunities when I knew it was really aligned to me. So, for instance, with traveling,
Mm.
for instance, moving to Bali last year, I really planned it out. The worksheets, I saved around 250,000 pesos for those 2 months so that I could move there. And for me, that's also like, for one, it's like, oh my God, Ella, you're spending so much money. You could have like maybe saved that money, done something else with it. But I feel like because I got so clear on what I want and what matters to me, it also didn't scare me from saying yes to big purchases as well, because I know that this is what's aligned to my dream life. So even for now, for instance, where it's always been one of my dreams to travel to Europe again before I turn 30. And as you know, next year I have plans on traveling and going back there. And obviously, like planning for a Europe trip takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of effort. And of course, it takes a lot of like money. But I know now that I'm not afraid to spend that or invest in that because I feel like that's what genuinely makes me feel so happy. So, yeah, learning how to
Yeah.
say no essentially to the things that are not for me, but saying yes to even big purchases that I feel are totally aligned and not being afraid to invest in that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that those are really good points that I would like to emphasize. Like, first, knowing what are the right opportunities for you because you are crystal clear on what it means to do what you love. You're crystal clear on what your dream life looks like instead of like being easily influenced of like, no, you should buy this to be happy. You should get this in order to be successful. And I think that's something that we really took our time during the coaching of you being able to identify what's really aligned with what gives you that passion, that purpose in your life. And so when these opportunities came in, you'd know what to say yes to and say no to because that's what I realized also. Like sometimes when we say yes to a lot of things, we don't realize like that's also draining us of not only our money, our resources, but also our energy. And it can
Mm,
also burn us out, right? If we say yes to all of the things. And what happened with you is because your mindset was prepared for those opportunities, you knew like this is what's aligned, this is what's not aligned. And it also put you in the right headspace of like, this is what I love, so I'm gonna make time for it, I'm gonna take action on it. And the second thing you talked about, which is so also something I resonate with a lot, is travel. Like I love to travel also. And when we save up for it, it's gonna be a big amount. And we have to be ready with the mindset of like, I don't have to feel guilty for spending a lot on this because this is what my dream life looks like for me and I deserve that. And I'm worthy of that to experience those things. And that really is a proof of how our mindset can prepare us for these amazing things for our life without us even realizing it. And when we fix that mindset, it then allows us to really enjoy our life more instead of constantly depriving ourselves of the things that we like or hustling but not really enjoying, and I
yeah.
really like how you brought that up.
Yeah. And I think one thing I wanted to add is like before our coaching sessions, I feel like there's always this misconception that you need to save up first and then do what you want. Your dream life is far away. But I feel like through our coaching sessions, it made me realize that I can live my dream life right now because I'm like with the salary that I'm earning right now. I feel like I genuinely am living my dream life and that I'm my own version of success because you define what success and happiness means to you. So yeah, I feel like that was another mindset shift versus I need to save up, go up the corporate ladder, and only then is when I can really enjoy and feel like I'm successful. Only when I've reached like this imaginary like place. But no, I feel like I'm living my dream life every day.
It makes me so happy to hear that, especially when you talk about these places that you've been to. Because I remember you were just setting those as goals back in 2021, and now you have achieved so, so, so much more. And it's really just the beginning. Like, I can't wait to catch up with you again 3 years later and see like how everything else also has been ticked off for you. So another thing that I do want to touch on also is that you mentioned earlier that there's always something that you carry with you from our conversations. And one thing that I've always carried with me from our conversations is like, I remember after one of our sessions, you've shared with me, like, Nick, you're meant to do this, you have to keep doing this. And I kid you not, it's always in my head. Like it always pushes me forward. And so I would really love to know, like, from our coaching together, how would you describe the support and guidance that you received from me as your coach? Like, was there a particular moment or instance where you felt especially supported or empowered that made you share those things to me?
To be honest, our coaching sessions together really just felt like talking to a friend. which is why like sitting down with you again after 3 years felt so nostalgic because it's you and me again. I'm still in the same room, and during our sessions, you really have a way of making people feel like they're seen and understood, which is really your gift as a reflector, as you mentioned. And you can give people so much guidance and clarity by the way that you're really able to like synthesize all of our feelings and thoughts. But more than that, I feel like more than the coaching sessions is because that was only over a span of what, like 3 or 6 months? It's what I appreciate the most is how we kept in touch throughout the 3 years and how supportive you've always been, not just for me, but I see that you do it with all of your clients. And for instance, one core memory for me is you supporting Bubble Buddies, for instance. My business, when it first launched, you were like, when I first launched that like passion project, you were one of the first people to really support me and buy from me and even share that, oh my God, this is my client. I think you even featured us on your YouTube video, like without me needing to like ask you or anything. You're just so genuinely so supportive and so generous, and also checking in on me from time to time. So, like what you were mentioning, whenever I have an Instagram post, whenever I traveled somewhere, whenever I post anything on TikTok, you're always one of the first few people to comment, like to show your support. And I think this really just goes to show how genuine and sincere you are as a person and how much integrity you have, that you really care deeply for everyone who takes your course. Like, not just for me, because we've known each other for 3 years or more and had worked together previously. Like, each and every single person that comes into your course, you care about them so deeply. So, yeah.
I
Oh,
need like a cry moment right now. What, like this is like a
you're
great way to
so
celebrate my 3 years. Like you're making me like cry and like ah.
Girl, and I have to say, like, everyone says it. Like, Rusio was like, oh my God, Nick made me realize that I could fulfill my
Yeah.
dream of moving to Spain. And even Hannah was like, I realized that I don't want to move abroad for my master's. I actually just
Yeah.
want to live independently. And Jamie is also like, now I feel empowered to invest in the kind cookie in her store. So, girl, it's not just me, but every single person. You like have taken the care of them so well, and you've changed all their lives. So,
Oh my god.
yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
girl. Like, di ko na-expect na, dapat din lang ako
nice.
nag-makeup today kasi para mahuhulas rin siya.
Pero ang
Oh
ganda
my
mo pa rin,
god.
girl. Ang ganda mong umiyak. Ano ba yan? Ako, when I'm crying, it's like hagulgol. Pero ikaw, ang ganda mo pa rin. Ano na? Ano na, girl?
I think it just also takes me back of like when I started this thinking that I had no idea like where this is gonna go. Like I just wanted to help one person at a time. And like it just makes me nostalgic of like that person, like that version of me who just believed like I was gonna help people, you know? And now that you're here and then sharing all these things, it's just like like it's a very healing experience to be like what I do matters and it's gonna keep helping people. And it also goes to show that like even the people that you refer, I'm like every time you refer someone like I know like this is like a good referral because this person came from you. Like they already know me because you share like all these good things. And it's just it's always a wonderful thing to hear every time someone says like you made me feel seen, heard, and understood because that's also what I wanted to feel. Like when I was lost, when I was overwhelmed, you know. Ha! Ang dami ko ng tissue dito. Ano ba yan?
Girl, I
Ano ka,
love
El,
that for you.
ikaw yung
Because I
nagpaiyak sa
also
akin ng...
can't like I can't imagine how like also like confusing and scary that step must have been, because you had come from quitting your corporate job
Yeah.
and you're venturing into something that is, I think at that point 3 years ago, was relatively unknown and unexplored. Like
Yeah.
money coaching, financial management, because I
Yeah.
feel like we were only familiar with like insurance people, but not
Yeah.
this level of like really tackling limiting beliefs and getting clarity. And you invested a lot of money into training for yourself and education, and then develop that program on your own. Girl, I said it was so solid already when it was beta tested, that I feel like now for your current students, that system has been refined and it's even more amazing. So yeah.
Yeah. As in, like, the title of this video should be like, Dick crying nonstop for like so many minutes.
Nick crying compilation.
Nick crying compilation. Yeah, I appreciate that so much. And so looking back, like what do you think were the most valuable mindset shifts and lessons you gained from our coaching sessions that you still carry to this day, you still apply to this day?
For me, something that I keep reiterating is that I used to be really intimidated by money. And more than that, I had a scarcity
Mm,
mindset. a feeling of lack based on what I don't have. Like, this is my life. These are the cards I've been dealt with. It sucks. It's like this subconscious belief that I'll never have the things I want because money is hard, earning money is hard, saving money is hard, money and opportunities are limited, you know? So I feel like I was in like a cycle of negativity, but one of the biggest mindset shifts was to go from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset nga, that I attract wealth and opportunities, that I'm worthy of good things. And like what we were talking about earlier, it really is all in the mindset that will shift you to be able to then attract and then be able to handle and manage these big opportunities when they do come. And I think one of the exercises that you made us do was to come up with a mantra to repeat to ourselves to rewire our thinking. And until this day, I kid you not, every single morning I repeat the mantra to myself that I am guided, protected, and provided for. I am safe, secure, and supported. I attract amazing people, opportunities, experiences, wealth, and abundance, and everything flows naturally to me. That's what I've been repeating to myself for the past 2 years. And that's what really helped me unlearn decades nga of scarcity mindset. So I feel like this is really helpful for people who maybe come from, I guess, less privileged backgrounds where you don't have to stay stuck in the circumstances you were born in. You can really rise above it.
Mm.
And that really starts with believing that you're worthy and that you're capable of it.
Yeah, like I that's really so powerful because I think when it comes to like shifting the mindset, first is like understanding and identifying what is that belief that you feel like is true, but then you've subconsciously believed. And I think that's what we did. And then second is like, okay, now that
Yeah.
we have deconstructed it and challenged it, what is now a new belief or a mantra that you can carry with you to remind you in rewiring like your beliefs that would be now more beneficial to you.
After you made me come up with that mantra, I posted it on my TikTok 2 years ago. So I posted the video. I didn't really think too much of it. It's not like it went viral or anything. But a couple of weeks ago, this girl who was following me messaged me and she was like, hey, I've been looking for your TikTok forever and you just came up on my For You page again. I just wanted to let you know that the mantra you shared from 2 years ago, I also repeated to myself every day, and now I'm living my best life here in Europe. So she was actually able to move. So what was really nice about that is like I posted another video again, and even more girls were like, "Oh my god, I love this mantra." They were creating like wallpaper graphics so that they could save it on their phones, and I feel like it's just like a multiplier of all this like empowerment for women and this abundance as well. So yeah, it's like you
Yeah.
inspired me to do that, and I was able to inspire another girl,
Yeah.
and now it's like just multiplying with people that we aren't even aware of nga. So I love that.
Yeah, yeah. And I love that story because like that's my mission is like what I do creates a ripple effect. Like I can't reach everyone, like but
Yes.
you can create that ripple effect in your own way. And hearing that makes me happy because like you get to inspire others as well. And it reaches so many people, not even realizing that you've actually impacted someone's life just by posting that video that didn't even need to go viral. It just needed to reach the right people who needed to hear it.
Yeah.
And this is like always an amazing story to hear like with my clients because whether you get to inspire a friend or a family member or like someone in your circle because they see like, hey, like she's different. Oh, you know what? I remember from one of our sessions, like in 2021, when you said like after our sessions when your friend was like, girl, parang may iba sa'yo. Parang iba ka na. Parang hindi ka na, like, I remember that. And it's different when you give off that energy to the people around you and you become an example of like, hey, if she did it, like, how about me? Like, I want to change my life too. I want to do something different for my life. And now you get to be that. And that's why I love commenting on your posts. Like, I don't even think about it. Like, when you just said it, I'm like, I just enjoy seeing you become that example. So, another thing that I want to ask is what do you think are the habits or skills that you developed from our coaching that impacted your life the most?
For me, I feel like the money systems really gave me a sense of safety and security that really allowed me to be more financially independent. I think one traumatic experience that I also shared with you was that
Yeah.
time that I went to Japan. And then, due to unforeseen circumstances, I had to book another accommodation and a return flight. And for me, it really hurt to spend that much for, of course, not gonna lie, but because I really had a solid emergency fund in place, which is something that you taught me to do. Again, you gave me the roadmap of what I needed to have to feel protected and secure. I felt really protected and I had more peace of mind knowing that an emergency happened, but I'm going to be okay and I would earn that money back anyway. So I feel like when I say it like this, it sounds like it was so quick and easy, but really, like when you're stuck in a foreign country and you have absolutely no
Mm,
choice, the only thing you can depend on is your own savings to get that accommodation,
yeah.
to get that flight. It's really like a scary situation to be put in. But yun nga, because of the money habits and systems of developing an emergency plan first before anything else, that really saved me in such a dire situation. So I feel like that was the most important solid baseline of security with an emergency fund. It's something that I tell everyone that I know, like all the youngins starting out with managing their finances, especially my
Mhm.
little sister. It's like, do you have an
Yeah.
emergency fund? Because having that very like solid foundation will give you the financial freedom to chase after even bigger goals and dreams and give you that sense of security, which is what I've been able to do since. So I've established it, I still contribute to it, but now I can chase even bigger goals knowing that I am safe or I have built my own safety net, especially again nga, where my
Yeah.
parents are not supporting me, like my grandparents have aged. Like everything that I have is really from me and my own savings, my own hard work. So I feel like it was so important that you can give yourself your own safety net and work towards that. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what it
I
is.
love that. Like having the ability to build your own safety net is so powerful because you don't have to worry about, hey, if I go to Europe, like wala na ba akong pera pag uwi, or like pagkatapos ba nito I have to be on survival mode. Like you don't have to operate that way anymore. You get to prepare your savings not only to give you a sense of security, but also to prepare you for the bigger milestones that you enjoy, like the travel and the experiences. And it also goes to show that managing your money really goes hand in hand with the mindset and also like the system. Like as you said, yes, you had the mindset to attract abundance, to know that money is not intimidating anymore, and it also reflected with your savings. It also reflected how you were able to overcome the living paycheck to paycheck. I remember our last, like the first ever live testimonial video we did was like you talking about breaking free from living paycheck to paycheck. Like that seems like forever ago because now you have transformed your life so much and transformed your finances so much. And this is what I mean, that when we build the right habits and mindset, it's really the foundation that allows us to be financially free, to be able to fund these bigger life milestones for ourselves. And you get to have the freedom to explore, to do the things that you want to do, knowing that you can protect yourself, that you are protected no matter what happens. Now, what I'd also like to know, like, how do you think those money habits and systems, in what ways did those impact your life for the past 3 years?
I feel like it's also helped me be, yeah, like more financially independent. Like I don't have to think about it
Yeah.
too much. Or yeah, it's not as intimidating anymore. And that's why I feel like even right now, like malayo pa, pero malayo na. Like still a long way to
Yeah.
go, but I've come such a long way. So yeah. And I feel like once you build that solid foundation, you can then move on to other things like investing or like from there from saving to now growing your wealth, and that's what like that's the phase I'm in as well. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Like we can't skip the saving habit and just go to growing our wealth, because
Yeah.
it's like if the foundation is not stable, then all of the wealth that you build will easily just crumble. It will easily just
Mm.
fall apart. And I love that we get to reflect on this like 3 years later, because you really see it, how it manifested in your life, that you're able to grow these opportunities because you had the right money habits and systems in place. And I just love it. I'm like, this is why I can shut up about it, obviously. So next thing is, I told Ella, like she basically referred like 3 to 4 from her friends, from her network, to my program. And I'm always grateful every single time I hear like, because Ella has raved about this and she thinks like you're the best person to help you with this. And so like I would love to know, like looking back, what advice would you give to someone considering joining my program?
So first of all, you already know how much I really love you and your work and how much I believe in your work. And you're truly making a difference in people's lives as you have in mine. And what I find really interesting is that the friends I recommend, they all come from different backgrounds, different lifestyles. We all have different dreams, different levels of financial capacity. But you help each of them find clarity and purpose. And they always come back to me telling me that like after their coaching sessions with you, they're basically so amazed of now I can fund my dream life. Like after my coaching sessions with Nick, they're like, I actually have all the funds I need to start my dream life. And it was so empowering for them. So I feel like my advice to anyone who is maybe on the fence about taking your course, this is your sign. I'm talking to you to really invest in yourself, not just in your financial well-being, but in being able to get clarity on what brings you happiness so that you can fund your dream life and start living it, or at least start working towards it. So your future self will really thank you for investing in this program. So again, it's not just an investment in your financial well-being, it's an investment in you and your dreams. So I would 100% say go for it. It's changed my life, as you can see from this interview. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And you know what? I'd also like to say how, without you even knowing, changed my life, right? Like, as you said, like the things that you shared with me from our sessions together, it's always ingrained in my mind that, like, what if there's another Ella I could help? Like, every time. Like, I remember when I was just starting, like, there's another Ella there and then another. And then now, would you believe I have close to now almost 100 one-on-one
Oh
clients?
my
Oh,
God,
very close to it.
Nick!
Yeah. Since launching
That's
in
so
2021.
crazy. Girl,
Yeah.
you were so booked and busy. It was so funny because I was telling this friend, yeah, like, yeah, book with
Yeah.
Nick. And she was like, oh my God, she saved me a slot for like 2 months by in the future. And I was like, yeah, girl, Nick is booked and busy, but 100 clients, girl. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah,
So happy for
so
you.
close there. I cannot imagine all of you all in one room. Like
Oh,
that's
girl, we
right.
should. We should.
It's
That's
so
something for your
crazy.
like fifth year or fourth year or something.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's a dream. It's a dream out there. So one last thing is, do you have any final thoughts or comments that you'd like to share about your overall experience with the coaching program?
Any final thoughts? I just want to say that I'm really grateful that I can't believe I'm one of the first people beta tested for the program.
Mm.
It absolutely changed the trajectory of my entire life, and I would not be living my dream life without it. It was such a transformative, eye opening experience. And if anyone is touched or empowered by me, they're also touched and empowered by you because you really shaped in those like in that quick coaching session who I am today, Nick. Man, I'm so grateful to you. I love you so much. So yeah.
Oh, so grateful. I appreciate your words always, always, always. And maybe it was my selfish reason to bring you here on my third year of business so I could just cry.
And let it all out.
Ah,
Well, I
yeah,
can't believe it's
no.
been 3 years. And you've already come such a far way in 3 years. And I can see you doing this for like decades, for your life, basically. Like, I can't
Yeah,
imagine how much more people you're gonna touch. And that really amazes me.
I
Yeah.
know. All right. So please share it to everyone where they can find you because they need to see your bump content also.
Okay. On Instagram, you can find me at Ella Sarol, and on TikTok, you can find me at Ella Senpai.
So make sure you follow Ella also to get more inspiration on all of the things that could be possible for you. And like her content is always like vibrating with like positivity and like just all of the vibes of attracting all that you deserve. So I'm so excited for what's ahead of you and thank you so much for being here and I will see you very soon at my
Yeah.
festa.
Thank you so much for your time, Nick. I'm always happy to help and come on here. So thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.